back to the Big Fat Gay Podcast, where we like to talk about the things that are weighing on our minds. In fact, we like talking about them so much that sometimes they spill over into 2 episodes.
Yay.
So welcome back to the 2nd episode in Storytime. So when I was thinking about a story, it was hard for me to kind of figure out what to go with. And I liked Trevor's sexy time idea. I liked Michael's sort of exploration of how he became who he is today. I wasn't sure where to go. So I started thinking about what's sort of most impactful to me right now. And in order to describe a recent conversation I had with my dad, I need to go back to sort of a while back. When I was a little kid, I've always been fat, right? I was a fat kid. I was a fat teenager, a fat adult. And my dad was always a jock, right? Like not a jock, but he was a physical fitness instructor. He was a dancer in shows, as they toured the country. Physical fitness was always a big deal for my dad. And so when I was a kid, I remember I didn't understand why my dad would come in Saturday mornings when I was watching cartoons and do push-ups in the living room and sit-ups and stuff.
Oh, God.
Take the hint.
Yeah. And he would occasionally invite me to join him. And I'm like, why would I do that?
It looks terrible.
Yeah, that doesn't look like fun at all. I don't understand. But
And I'd spill my cereal.
I wouldn't quite get the hint with it. But I remember eventually my dad, one weekend said we're going to go to the playground today. And I'm like, oh, awesome. I get to go to the playground with my dad. That's not something we do. That's great. And so he took me to the local public high school, which, it's a weekend. There's no one there. And they had I guess it would be a middle school. Sorry. They had a playground there and they had, their track and field stuff set up in back. And so I was there's a swing set. And he's like, no. There's a seesaw. He's like, no. And I remember there was they had this, I don't know what to call this toy, but there was this, it was like a basketball hoop made of metal on top of a pole that had 4 holes on the bottom that had different scores, and you'd throw a rock into it. And depending which hole it came out of,
A rock?
whatever. Well, there was gravel everywhere. So.
Okay.
Anyway, my dad, I pointed at that. My dad's like, no. And he starts doing push-ups.
Oh, God.
And he goes over to the chin-up bar and he's like, let's try and do some chin-ups.
For fuck's sake.
And I think I must have was 8 or 9, maybe 10 at the oldest. And I'm like, this is not what you do at a playground. I don't understand this.
Why would you even go to the playground?
This is a trap.
Well, because it was a trap.
And then to wrap up our fun-filled day at the playground, doing chin-ups, push-ups, and sit-ups.
Oh, Jesus.
He's like, well, let's run around this track thing. That looks like fun. And so
I'll chase you.
Run.
And so we're running around the track, or he's running around the track. I'm sort of wheezing and dragging myself around the track, trying to figure out what, is this what normal people do at playgrounds? And for the life of me, I finally, at the end of the day, he's like, didn't that feel good? And I feel fit and I feel strong. And at that point, it finally clicked with me oh, there's something wrong with me, right? This is how normal people have fun. This is
So it wasn't just, you didn't just take, oh, my dad thinks there's something wrong with me.
Oh no, that was definitely there too.
But you thought oh my God, everybody else in the world loves this.
Yeah,
it's me.
This must I must be wrong.
Oh, wow.
So that sort of got into my head for a long time. There was something wrong with me that I didn't enjoy this stuff. Right. So there's that. Recently, I've mentioned on the show before, I think my dad's turning 80 this year. I'm gonna fly out for his 80th birthday.
Get him a chim up bar.
And his
Let's go to the park, Dad.
I have done that. I've gone back to the past, and I was I'm more physically fit than my dad. And I was like, let's go for a walk in the park. He's like, okay. It's late. It's a beautiful night out. Let's go for a walk on the, no, fine. It's cold. Fine. But recently my dad, during one of our conversations over the phone, tells me I get what you've been saying. now because he's gained a lot of weight.
Oh,
right. And he's like, yeah, like nothing I buy fits. Right. And like, you know, all these people, like every time I go to the doctor's office, he went into the doctor's office with some eye and ear problems. And they said, you should probably lose weight.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's in my eyes. Like I can't lose weight in my eyes.
It's in my eyes too. Jesus Christ, lose weight.
And like some of the things that we've talked about on the show, I've been able to share with my dad and be like, there are these suspenders you can wear the clip onto the back of your pants. He
butt
can't.
suspenders.
He can't. My father can't bend over to touch his feet anymore. So I've mentioned him like there are these things you can do that put your shoes on for you or your socks and blah blah blah. And I didn't realize that I needed my dad to experience some of these things. And my dad, who is one of the least self-aware people you will ever meet, actually being able to say to me, like, I think I did some fucked up stuff, you know, like, and that's not great. He's never really apologized, but the fact that he acknowledged that it was something that perhaps he regretted, I think that's as good as it's going to get, you know?
Having, I don't know, had the experience of a parent be like, huh, you know, some of that stuff I did may have messed you up a little. I never really thought about that. I'm sorry. It's like, yeah, that's right.
No
It
shit.
means a lot.
I'd like to talk for like a day about that.
You know?
I think a really interesting takeaway from this too is your dad gained weight. And what a lot of people will do is they carry that. They had a bad body image, which was often what kept them in shape, you know, for fear of, you know, like you were saying, Michael, of being fat, sloppy, and whatever, lazy. So they had this really bad body image, which keeps them in shape. They get older, they gain weight, and so they take it as a failure that the world is right to reject them because they have failed the world. What's interesting about your father is that he didn't have that kind of messed up body image. He always knew himself to be physically fit and like valuing his body. So when he got fat and the world started treating him differently, he blamed the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is
very much so.
Really, which is why this worked. Because he could have turned this into now I know what it's like to be fat. We both suck. You know? We didn't do that.
Yep.
That's what's so magical about that.
And I appreciate that. And it's very interesting for me to be able to help my dad live his life in his body, you know, with, you know, it's an interesting cycle for me. Very cats in the cradle, but the opposite.
The cradle and the cat.
Little boy blue and the man.
Sing it, baby.
When you're coming home, daddy don't know when. We'll get together then.
We'll have a good time then.
Cats in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little
Hold
boy
on.
blue
If you
and
sing one more note, we owe someone royalties.
Man. Son of a bitch.
So I didn't know what story to tell. So
I'm excited.
I know what story to tell. So I asked my husband. He said, you should tell that story where. So I'm going to tell this story and try to make it have an ending.
We'll write it our own if it doesn't.
Okay. So once upon a time, I went to this Chub Chaser event. I know, shocking.
What?
And I went with my boyfriend at the time. We were non-monogamous. We were definitely the Chub Chaser power couple. And there was this super, super hot Brazilian boy who was totally into my boyfriend. And he wasn't like the pretty exotic Brazilian you might be thinking of as the stereotype. He was not pretty. He was just fucking sexy. All 5'7" of him. And, you know, lean and cut and gorgeous.
Oh, you know, there's more gravity down there, so they can't grow as tall.
It's hard.
So, okay, but he was in the thrall of this other guy who was just big. And, you know, there is an unfortunate stereotype that the hotter the chaser, the older and uglier they like their chub. And it's not true, but a lot of times chubs will go like, wait, you're with him? It's kind of like what you were saying before, Michael. And so the guy he was with, he wasn't pretty, but he was big.
Okay.
They're together, and the chaser's really interested in my boyfriend, which is fine with me. But, my boyfriend at the time was like trying to make this happen. And so he's saying things like, so are you free to play? He's asking the chaser. Are you like, you guys are non-monogamous? And the chaser is being really vague, like, oh yeah, sure. Like, don't touch me now.
Not now, later.
Not now, later.
Wait for him to go to the bathroom.
And there's just this comically huge sexual tension between my boyfriend and the chaser. And finally, after like a day at the event, maybe a day and a half, they finally get it together. So I'm staying with my boyfriend and another friend in a suite. So like it's a 1-bedroom at the place. So the friend is, obviously my boyfriend and I are sleeping in the bed and the friend's out front. So my boyfriend and the chaser go back into the bedroom and they're having a time. And at some point, the friend and I go into the outer room and we know they're back there. So it's not a problem. It's just, they're doing they're getting done what they need to get done. And all of a sudden, Charlie, Big Chub, comes and, hey, have you seen Tino? You seen and we're like, oh, why no, sir, we haven't. Because we know how this is going to go.
Surprise 3-way.
No,
He's in the bathroom.
Why no, sir, we haven't. And he's like, and he is turning the place upside down looking for his chaser.
Oh, he came in. He just.
Well, no, I mean, no. I mean, I'm sorry. The resort, the place.
Oh, okay. Just
because this is
the
in Palm
location.
Springs. This is the CCBC in Palm Springs, so it's a lot.
Okay, I thought you meant your room.
No. He's looking in drawers. No.
What about under this couch cushion?
There's change, but no chaser. No.
You said he was 5'7", so he could be anywhere.
He could be anywhere. No. So we don't even know. There's a sliding glass door. We don't let him in because he looks big and pissed. And like, he's pounding on shit. And he wanders off and we're like, oh my God, what's going to happen now? And about 10 minutes later, we hear a crash. We hear and yelling. And the friend and I are like looking at each other because that sounded close. What happened was the Big Chub had seen them in bed through the little high window.
Oh my God.
And put his fist through the glass.
Oh.
Because he was going to get in that way? I don't think so. Unless he's going to turn into Tinkerbell. Oh. And he is pounding and screaming. And both of the guys are like furiously putting on their pants. And all of a sudden we see the bedroom door fly open and the chaser fly out of there with most of his pants on and no shirt.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, honey, are you okay? Anyway, so the chaser runs out and we're like, good, because that means, the chub's not going to come in and pursue him.
Right.
And they go off, but there's like this trail of blood leading away from our front door because the guy's bleeding.
He cut himself.
Yeah, he cut himself badly. I mean, he put his fist through a plastic
Don't do
window.
that, people.
Yeah. Pro tip. So anyway, there's an ambulance, there's a police car, there's yeah. So
wow.
So that's the Real Housewives of a Chub Chaser event.
Are there high glass windows in the bedrooms of the place at Big Bayou?
Well, no, you have to, a lot of people do know the CCBC because it's the largest gay optional resort in Palm Springs. Gay clothing optional. Not gay optional.
There's a comment there.
Optional.
Gay clothing is optional.
Well,
I'm just wearing black today.
That turns out to be true. No, it's like rolling hills and trails and come hither and fuck me. But so it's very open air and there's like grounds. Mm-hmm. It's very idyllic. Mm-hmm. But with the trail of blood, not so much.
Well, as long as you don't slip in it, I mean, how bad could it be?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that was a time.
Oh my God. Well, the moral of the story is don't cheat on your partner.
No, I think it's like communicate in that fucking 3-way or not 3-way.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it's like
No,
they went to an event, so
You're
like
both
they kind
right.
of were asking for it.
Well, that's the other thing. It's like going to an event and being monogamous is like going to a buffet and not eating. It's
But you can enjoy the smells. And the,
yes.
There's an endless salad bar. I'm just going to have salad the entire time.
but no dressing.
Yeah,
No dressing.
yeah. And you really think that before you go, like that's gonna work. That's gonna work. I'll just
Man,
have
I
the salad.
smell something delicious.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding. I smell like
Oh yeah, I think somebody's cooking. What
it's
does that smell like?
Maybe I smell what you're cooking.
kind of smells like
Your sister is
beefy
cooking
tomato sauce or
something
something.
delicious next to a room with very
Onions.
large, hungry men.
but I'm just gonna have salad.
Just have salad.
Yeah.
No,
No,
well,
but I should say that this happens a lot. That that thing
it
of like
does.
no,
Smashing through windows.
not the window smashing, but that idea of like, are you guys monogamous? Well, my partner is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not great. Communication. Have better communication, chasers of the world.
So that was our story time for the day.
Yeah.
I hope you
Definitely took
enjoyed
you on
these
a
stories.
couple journeys there.
Trevor, do we have a tip?
We do have a tip. y'all.
Tip? Oh, how exciting.
Everyone look under your chair.
And you get a tip. And you get a tip. And you get a tip.
I just see a carpet.
No, so this has been on my radar for a while, and it was in my kind of like tip file. But I wanted to share it just because everything with books right now is kind of weird, and I think it's going to continue to be weird because of shipping stuff. And
It's also like a
production
paper
issues.
supply chain thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there is another new Fat Positive Kids book coming that I am very excited
Oh,
about.
I love this title so much.
It sounds so good.
It's called The Supervillain's Guide to Being a Fat Kid by Matt Wallace.
I'm sold. Gimme.
Exactly right.
Yes.
Would you read this now?
Gimme.
And here's the description. Max's first year of middle school hasn't been easy. 8th grade hotshot Johnny Pro torments Max constantly for no other reason that Max is fat and an easy target. Max wishes he could fight back, but he doesn't want to hurt Johnny. Just make him feel the way Max feels. In desperation, Max writes to the only person he thinks will understand. Imprisoned supervillain Master Plan, a gentleman of size. To his surprise, Master Plan wants to help. He suggests a way for Max to get even with Johnny Pro and change how the other kids at school see them both.
So it's basically revenge porn.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's I wonder how that ends because it could go the whole like
It ends very wholesomely, of course.
I don't know. It's a kid's book.
Everyone loves a supervillain origin story.
I don't know what it is, but you shove a supervillain theme into anything, I'm there.
I just
I'm
love
ready.
the supervillain's guide to being a fat kid. What a great
Yes.
title.
Because supervillains, they do whatever the fuck they want to do. There's
This is-
something admirable about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they just go for it.
Yeah.
There's this great little a game called Nefarious where you're all supervillains in the Bond universe trying to take control of the world before the other ones do.
Oh, nice.
And the inventions you come up with are so insane. It's great.
His Goldfinger's up my Moonraker.
Whoa. Whoa.
So we do have a bit this week.
Yes.
Yay.
We're doing things a little differently since we are bringing in our own stories from our past. And since you, dear listener, have had we're getting close on 2 years to get to know your 4 co-hosts here.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Each of us, we're going to play a little getting to know you game. Each of your co-hosts have brought in 3 stories that are three factoids about ourselves.
Tidbits.
Tidbits of information, 2 of which are true. And the rest of us are going to try and guess which one is the fake story. All right. So we're going to make them very short. Does anyone want to go first? No? Oh, Michael? Okay.
I want Michael to go first.
Okay. I guess I'm going first. So you said 3 total.
3 total, 1 of which is not true.
Got it. Okay. I did 4.
Two truths and a lie.
I gotta pick which one I want to leave out. Okay, I know what I'm gonna leave out. All right, so here are my little factoids in no particular order. When I was a kid, I once juggled a soccer ball for so long that I got dizzy watching the ball spinning and fell down. And there are bonus points associated with this one. After you guys guess. Number 2. Since my dad was a classically trained French chef, he's not French, but classically French trained, and my mom was a pastry chef, I have been cooking and baking avidly since I was a little kid. And 3, As much as I enjoy watching horror movies with friends now, I was not a fan at all before I moved to LA when I was 21 years old. At all.
I think that this is a trick lineup. I think that the second one is almost true because I think both of your parents were trained that way, but I don't think you enjoyed baking or cooking.
That's what I'm going with.
I'm torn because I feel like
That he would totally fall down being dizzy from a soccer ball.
my first thought is like that, but he was an adult.
But this was yesterday.
I will say I wasn't that. I was not that devious.
Okay.
I wouldn't do that much.
I'm going to say, because I mean, all of these sound right, but I also want to say the second one because I'm like, it feels like you're manipulating us.
You guys are all right. The second one is, yes, my dad was classic friendship. Those are both facts. But as far as me, yes, no, I've only recently started cooking. I haven't really done any. Oh, I guess I have done baking because I've made a couple birthday cakes. But yes, I very much enjoy it. So bonus points. How many times did I juggle the ball before I fell down dizzy?
Oh, dear.
36.
136.
42.
99.
All right.
Oh.
I almost made it to 100. I was like so close.
That is beautifully pathetic.
And bonus points number 2. What was the one horror movie I had seen before I turned 21 that I can remember? But
Poltergeist.
I think the only one.
He's the right age for Poltergeist.
Poltergeist. Trevor's thinking.
Yeah, no, I'm just taking too long. The Shining?
No. Halloween. Because my dad was not a horror fan, but he loved Halloween, which I think was a good one. And I did like it when I saw it. I just wasn't.
I will say the most recent Halloween was really good.
Yes,
Like,
it was
It was really good.
All right, Don.
My 3. Once I got an entire dining hall of senior citizens sick by serving them spoiled Manischewitz.
That's just impossible.
I have survived accidents in land, sea, and air.
Oh, wow.
And someone tried to assassinate me in high school.
What?
One of these is
Clarification
not true.
here. When you say assassinate, do you mean literally try to kill?
They literally tried to kill me in high school. Me
hired
specifically.
someone.
Well, knowing you, Don, I think that's the true one.
That's
I'm
fair.
going to say the Manischewitz one is a lie.
Okay.
I just can't imagine how Manischewitz goes bad because it never goes good.
The problem is, I know that you worked in that environment. I know that's true. I just don't know if that's specific. You're being just as tricky as I was being.
No.
I'm going to go with number 1 as well. I think there's some truth to it, but I don't think it was.
To the Manischewitz?
Yeah, I don't think it was Manischewitz.
All three of the
Manischewitz.
Okay.
It is in fact true. The
Yay!
Manischewitz one. I did work in a Jewish senior citizen summer camp. I am amazed by the fact that they regularly drank Manischewitz mixed with buttermilk.
Whoa.
And they never got sick.
Oh,
Well, yeah. But
They did
believe
that
me, the
and-
Manischewitz will kill anything.
That and prune juice and buttermilk and Manischewitz
What
and
is the
buttermilk.
buttermilk?
My God. I remember hearing about the
Probiotics?
buttermilk
doesn't
thing.
it curdle? Wouldn't it have to?
Nope.
Well, it's kind of pre-curdled, so.
Oh,
Yep.
that's the most upsetting thing you've ever said.
And now I must try it.
There you go.
All right, Dan.
Is it me? Okay.
Let's hear it.
All right. So, I have been accused of killing fat guys. That's for you to vote on. That's not,
Okay. That's one of
Second, I shut down Tyra Banks on her own show.
them.
A mega chub offered to let me live with him for free in exchange for helping him with his mobility and daily chores.
Huh. I know you were on Tyra. I think I remember that being the case. I'm going to say number 3. That's my guess. And Don, don't think I haven't forgotten about the assassination thing. I want to ask you about that.
We're just brushing right past that. Yeah.
I'm going to guess that the shutting down of Tyra Banks is wishful thinking. So I'll go with that. Like, I think you probably were in a situation where you had the opportunity and you just like 5 seconds after the moment was passed, you're like, damn it, I should have said this.
Okay.
I'm going to say the Mega Chub thing.
Is the fake one.
Yeah,
Is
the fake one.
Okay.
So we have Mega Chub, Tyra,
Banks.
and
Mega Chub.
Mega Chub. Yes, Mega Chub is the fake thing. I've never been invited to do that. I did shut Tyra Banks down on her own show. They just edited it out. Yeah. No, what she done.
Oh, they cut it out. That's
they cut it out. What had, because they're not going to show that.
Yeah.
No, what happened, and by shutting her down, I mean like she had nowhere to go. No, what happened was the producers had done this awful really pre-interview with me, and they tried to make what I said into sound bites to fit on Tyra's cards. And so Tyra was asking me things like, so Dan, I understand that when it comes to fat guys, you think the bigger the better. And I'm like, you're trapping me here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just said, no. And because having done my fair share of reality shows, if you respond to the question, that's airable.
That's enough.
That's airable. But if you give them zero, they've got to get rid of it. If you just start staring at the camera and saying nothing,
or start singing a copyrighted song. This is from 30 Rock. It's a really clever idea.
I had another backup strategy for MTV, which was I was just going to talk about MTV for a while.
Yeah.
I like the Great British Bake Off. The original two hosts were famous when someone was having a meltdown on the show, and that's like that's something they wouldn't want to be shown. Like they're crying and losing it. The two co-hosts would walk and stand behind them and just start swearing because that would make that footage completely unusable, and it would give those people a few moments to pull themselves together and kind of get going again. And I love that.
That also kind of has that like. Has anyone here not seen? Oh no, I know. Never mind. But there's that like, I can't say it because there's somebody I know who listens to the show and I don't want to spoil. This is a spoiler from a movie, and I don't want to say it. Never mind. Assassination Story. Before we get to Trevor, what, how, and why?
I will never know the exact reason why. I know I inherited my dad's car as my first car. It was a BMW, and I went to a school that. It was not the wealthiest of private schools, but it was, we had a lot of, I think 2 people paid full price for tuition. Everybody was sort of on the spectrum of income. And I think, one, there was somebody in my class who really didn't like me for some reason. I don't know why. Or 2, they resented that I had more money and I was getting sort of opportunities to do stuff. But one day I got into my car to drive home. I drove halfway back before one of my tires just came flying off my car.
Whoa.
And just went into oncoming traffic, and I steered off, and it turned out when somebody was checking out my car, someone had removed all but one of the lug nuts.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
On the car. No idea who it was. I will never know entirely the motives, but it was
all
entirely
but one.
intentional.
Yeah, that's not a prank.
That's intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's meant for you to start driving.
That was one of your crashes on Air, Land, and Sea.
I wasn't actually including that one, but yes.
Okay.
That is true.
Well,
I have survived a small plane crash. I have survived a sailboat crash into a reef.
I remember your plane crash story. That's a good one.
Yeah. And I have survived a motorcycle accident, all of which my dad was behind the wheel.
Oh, wow.
The plane?
That is a whole other can of worms.
My dad was a private pilot. I learned how to fly before I could drive. But,
Wow.
yeah, it's just...
Because you landed that plane, didn't you?
No. But I was the one who, long story short, we came in very late into a small airport. It was shut down. Everyone was gone. And there was a strong crosswind. So when we came in, my dad accidentally bounced the plane. It came down on its front reel, which collapsed.
Oh.
And we dragged off the landing strip, came to a stop, and like nose in the ground. It was basically balanced. Like we were, vertical, horizontal to the ground. And I remember hanging in the seatbelt, turning to my dad and saying, he loves telling the story. From everything I've seen on television, the plane should explode in several seconds. We should probably run. And we did. And it didn't. So,
Well, thank God you crashed on the ground so you could walk away.
Okay. Trevor, we've delayed too long.
Yes. Okay. So there's a theme to mine, which is
Okay.
celebrity encounters.
Oh, interesting.
So the first is I physically bumped into Tan Francis from Queer Eye, the new Queer Eye.
oh, I like him.
Yes, at the gym.
Oh. Interesting.
I mean, like collided.
Yes.
Oh.
That's what physically bumped
Yes.
into means here. Okay.
Knocked over.
I asked Aaliyah Shawkat to hand me my bag of candy I just changed seats on a flight. And she went into my old former seat.
Okay.
And then I rode an elevator with Missy Elliott, and I didn't know it was Missy Elliott. And I said to my friend, like, "Oh my God, that one looked exactly like Missy Elliott." Trevor, that's because that was Missy Elliott.
I'm gonna go with the Jim bumping into the Queer Eye dude story.
I'm going to go with candy.
I'm going to go with like colliding with this guy.
Okay.
2 Jims and a candy.
It was Missy Elliott.
Really?
Okay. We're all
Because you would
wrong.
always recognize her, and then you
Yes.
wage your performance. So he got back up and he was fine. Or
I mean, I didn't like run. Like it was like on the stairs because it was.
Oh,
Where,
I
like,
was picturing him like ricocheting off of you
No.
into like a treadmill, which launched
This
him
was just
out
like one of
the
those
front
like
door.
bump.
Okay, this is the stairs at Equinox.
Yes,
Okay.
because I was turning because there's like a corner.
Yeah.
And I was turning out, and he was just coming up, and it's kind of a weird like. if you're
So
coming
nobody
from
got
the
hurt.
No.
Fortunately, that's good.
Yeah, but it's terrible.
Dear listener, what happened to the celebrity that you body checked at the gym?
Are they with us?
Where could they tell
think
us?
so.
Where could they tell us, Trevor?
Well,
Hold on. Sorry, I
I
wasn't
can't tell
ready.
you until the music's ready.
And go.
We're on Twitter and Instagram as @BigFatGayPod. We're on Facebook as the Big Fat Gay Podcast. Leave us 5 stars there. Leave us 5 stars on Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Podchaser, Google Music, whatever.
Amazon, but they don't have reviews.
Amazon. See the articles we talked about at www.bigfatgaypod.com.
Yay!
Yeah, it's the end of another episode. Maybe
Another 2 episodes.
maybe you're having a 3-way. And
Three-way in our 2-part episode? That's nasty.
someone smashes through the window, and it's Martha Wayne here to give you a pearl necklace. So
So watch
watch
out.
Trevor just body checked her through the window.
Martha.